Hello everybody, it's William Jamming. Welcome to my channel. So let's continue our journey of learn art, and this is a series of video about how I learn art traditionally. And today I'm going to challenge myself of drawing still life, and I'm going to draw this bell pepper. That's what I have in my house, so I'm going to just practice that. And for you guys to actually see that, because I don't have a lot of camera, so I'll just use my phone, shooting like top down, and I use my another phone. This phone is for especially for development. Okay, so I take a like a photo of that bell pepper, and I take the photo. Sorry about that. I got a really serious cold recently, and but I'm really hardworking. I got continue. So I take a photo of the bell pepper so you guys can like see that clearly. Basically, it's just the same thing. Okay. So I'm gonna draw this bell pepper, and you can watch this bell pepper a while ago. If I put the bell pepper here, it won't have I won't have a lot of room for me to draw. Okay. So but I think we can actually observe this bell pepper. Okay, so let's get started. And here is the bell pepper, and there are some of the characteristics that we can observe. So basically, if you look at here, we got some stone at this side. Okay, and it's amazingly reflective, I think. So sometimes when we draw things, we forgot about how reflective these things are, and so my light is shooting from above, and as you guys can see, especially if you look at photo, this area got a lot of reflective light. Okay, so this part, because this shot like shooting this way and lights shooting from above, so this will definitely have a really highlight here. And what is in the curve, and this is a thing that I learned. Okay, so if there's a curve, like if there's a curve and light is shining, and what we're going to do is to this part of the curve is going to be highlighted. Okay, this area will be highlighted, and down below this part of the curve we have a lot of shadow. Okay, and if it's a shape like this, okay, so if it's downward curve, like this area, okay, like this area, it's sort of like going down and going up. So the curve like this, you have a different reflection of light. So as you guys can see, the edges here, okay, so edges here is not as you might thought highlighted, but rather you can give it a really dark line here. So that's when I talk about don't draw from the concept, but rather draw from observation. So if you actually observe, you can see the top area here. We got a really dark but really thin edges, and then inside we got a highlighted area, and then we got like a mid-tone here. And then at the edges we got a really thin dark area like this. So yeah, they kind of a really complex shape, especially. So I think this part is a really challenging part while I'm dealing with this. And this part is we got a lot of bump here, and every bump we got some highlight. So my strategy is I just do everything without consider the highlight, and then use eraser to just erase this part. Okay, and this two bump is really simple, I think, because this part, right, this part and this part, just I treat these two part as a sort of a cylinder. So there will be like a cylinder, and down another cylinder. Okay, so the cylinder this part of the cylinder will be shadowy part. This part will be light part, and the rest will be shadowy part. So that's how to draw this part. Okay, so basically I think that will cover most of the bell pepper. So I might just put it here. Okay, so I put it here, but also show a picture here so you guys can actually see what I'm observing. And I think the light here is not too great. Okay, and let me think whether I got enough space for this, because I sort of add this learn digital.com's like a logo here. So yeah, maybe just move it up a little bit. So maybe that should do the work. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. And yeah, by the way, the shadowy part here, okay, down below the shadowy part, so you do cast a certain shadow, and the more closer it connect to the object that we want to draw, we got a really dark shadow down below. But we also, because lights work like a reflective way, that's what I learned recently. So basically, if you got a cube, you got, yeah, you do have a certain really dark area, but the rest of it, even though the light, say the light is point light here, and cast light below, even though this area shouldn't have a light, but you got reflective light. So when lights hit the ground, you sort of reflect, and then going down, something like that. Okay, so this area will have a bit of light, so you can have a little mid-tone. So yeah, this area like this, even though maybe the light coming from up, we cast shadow, but this area is not so dark. Okay, so yeah, that's some of the quick takeaway. So let's get this working. Okay, so what I'm using right now, I have seen a lot of teachers that sort of force you to use charcoal to draw first, and then use pencil. And yeah, different teacher have different style. Some teacher will say, hey, just to draw a pretty clean sketch, and I think that's what I'm aiming at, because if you watch my previous like practice of charcoal, I'm a sort of dirty guy. Okay, so when I draw really dirty. I got make a really mess, and that is sort of my advantage, my thing. But I'm not good at drawing clean things, so I think I'm going to draw clean sketch, just to just practice this. Of course, I can draw that really dirty really quickly. Okay, and I'm going to practice my yeah, I just learned that recently, how to hold the pen. Okay, just use the arm movements a bit. So what I'm doing is I want to get the shape right. Maybe shape like this. So I'm trying to use my arm movements a bit, and just want to get the shape correctly. Maybe like this. Okay, and okay, I'm still not good at holding my pen this way, because I'm sort of like this guy. I do all this art practice digitally, so in fact I don't know how to use this kind of holding when I do this traditional art. And another thing I learned is that you sort of need to draw the outline first and then draw the detail. Okay, previously I tend to focus too much on the detail, and so the outline is not good. And what I learned is that you need to draw the straight line, or maybe really nice curve, as long as possible, and then try to connect all this and fix all this. if there's a line too out of the line, and you can fix that. Okay, so it will be the outline that I observed, and then I got a really, like here, right, this part, I got a dense area down below. So what I'm gonna do is to maybe adding a line here, so like really down below this line, because it's like the finished drawing is really dark color, so I'm not going to just use like ghosting, just to use this. And I think we got another line here, just this part. Okay, so I think it's a fairly dark area, so what I'm going to do is to add all that. So we got a condensed area here, and then that's dealing with the left part. So we got this bumpness, and things got multiple bumpness, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I think it's not actually bump. So the thing I learned is that as you doing a really big sketch, you're going to move down. If you're doing like the sketch like this, you're going to move move down a little bit. Yeah, this is down or up, I don't know, just the closer you get to the tip, the more fine-tuning you will be able to get. Okay, so yeah, let me adjust the camera a little bit. I think I just draw outside of this camera. Okay, maybe that would do. And maybe we got a little line here, maybe something like this. Okay, I just try to move my shoulder a bit, just use my shoulder movement. I'm not accustomed to this kind of drawing, so that's what I'm trying to challenge myself to do. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about the outline of this, maybe adding later. Okay, I think it's fair enough to add in a detail here. So basically we got a stem area, like this circle-ish shape. Okay, circle shape, and we got some separation here and there. I think these got separation, and yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let me just move it down a little bit so you guys can see what's down below. Okay, I'm not really good at like recording all this. Okay, so yeah, and then I think I can add in the shadowy part, and we can use multiple tools to add. Let me grab some tissue, and I think I got some charcoal, and okay, I think I got some charcoal, and of course I can use charcoal to, I think this part is really dark, I can use that to add it, and but I try to refrain myself to use the tool I'm familiar with. So let's use pen for this one. Okay, and what I'm going to do is to add the most shadowy part. I think maybe something like this. I think this part is the most shadowy part, and then I think this part is also pretty dark, and this part is also pretty dark as well. And the highlight is the thing I'm trying to ignore, and so I'm ignoring all these highlights. So there are two ways of ignoring that. One is to, if there is a highlight in the shadowy parts, I just ignore it and draw the shadow, only shadow. And if there is a, highlight area, I will just ignore it by not drawing on it. And if there's a shadow, if there's highlight in the shadow, I'm going to just ignore it and just draw the shadow. And later use eraser to add in the highlights. Okay, I think the stem, the end of the stem will be blackish. Let me add some force to it. Maybe I think this part is really dark. I'm going to apply more pressure here. Okay, just apply a little bit of pressure in this area. Okay, maybe here. And a little bit of pressure. This part's really dark. Okay, so I tend to, use really light forces here. Just pretty light. Okay, and yeah, I think that's about sort of like the ghosting area, like this. And then what I'm going to do is to add in a little bit force here, because this part is really dark. So what I'm going to do, what can, 8B. Maybe this will give me a darker color. Okay, this is a really dark color. Of course, you can just add force. Doesn't really matter the pen that you're using. I tend to use the same direction, which is direction that I think I'm most comfortable with. Maybe this area will be a little bit dark. Okay, this area definitely a little bit dark, so I'm going to add a little bit of force here. Maybe here, a little bit dark. And the dark area, especially, I treat this as a cylinder. So this area will be really dark, and this area will be a little bit darker, and then so like a blend going up. So it'll be a blending area. This needs a little bit of force. So I'm going to apply the force here. This clearly have a separation. That's what I'm going to do to actually separate that, and adding a little bit of force. Okay, so this area definitely need a highlight, so maybe I will just deal with that later. This area do have a highlight, but I'm just going to ignore this, because if you are like drawing this, but you have to consider the highlights, you may have a not too defined edges. You may have a defined edges, and that's not what I want. Okay, so I think this part got some scar in this bell pepper. Okay, and I may need to, like here, I may have to add in a little bit of force here in order to highlight the scar area, like this. And maybe we got a scar here, okay, this part, so I may have to, I think scar will give you really sharp edges, so you can have a really, distinguish light here. So maybe a dark-ish area, and then definitive light area here. So maybe that's will do. I think the pen is a little bit too fine-tuned the line. Okay, so I have to blend this. It's not like charcoal, so yeah, that's the thing. I have to do more research. The pencil is too much like refined, and when you draw, they kind of just stick to the paper, so you won't get, say, a second chance to change it by smudge it. Yeah, I think one of the things I love about charcoal drawing is that I can actually smudge, and smudging is when you want to blend something, you can use that to smudge things, and it kind of give you a second chance. I think this got a highlight here, right? So might as well just add some. Yeah, I think this is really definitive highlight, and I will use eraser for that. The simple I just found the eraser. Do you have a really hard eraser? I think the only thing I got is some really soft eraser. And let me find it. Okay, I got some really soft, really hard eraser. So the soft eraser will not give you the highlights that I want. So let's try this one. Okay, that's more like it. That's more like it. Get some edges. Just draw around the part that you just erased. So this will serve as a highlight. This will like a scar area. Hopefully this can pass as a highlight. Okay. Okay, I think maybe I'm not drawing that hard enough. So maybe add more affirmation of my line. So to show that I really know this area is pretty dark, just to be confident. I think I'm not being confident enough because I haven't tried this before, so I just do that really like cautiously, which is good thing if you just start doing, but it's not a good thing when you want to finish this. So what I'm gonna do is to affirm that by adding more forces to my drawing. I think this will be a definitive line here, and maybe some shadowy parts down below. I think I do have some shadow here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So there will be a definitive line here, a really dark shadow down below. I'm going to apply some of the forces and some of the not so great shadowy area. I think I can achieve this kind of shadow by using my charcoal, but I just try to use pencil to do everything. Okay, just like a new challenge for me. The edges be like really defined edges. So right now I think it's not too defined. I think this area do have some sort of a highlight, so maybe I missed this. I added some part of a shadowy part, but I missed the highlight. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just raise this part so it can have a sort of kind of highlight. this area. This area do have a definitive highlights. This part can have a shadowy part, but it's not too great. This part we have a like the light here, but let's just ignore that. Okay, so just I'm going to use the technique I just learned. Just ignore that. Give it really like not so intense drawing, but then erase this part as a really definitive highlight here. I think got two highlight parts in this area. I think this part is really dark, like really dark. And do have a certain shadowy part. Okay, yeah. The great thing about pencil drawing is that when you like smudge it, it won't just go crazy like when I use charcoal. So when I use charcoal, if I smudge it, it would just you know, yeah, everything would just become all mixed together, and that's not what I want. This edges, I don't want it to have a clear view of my brushes, so just tend to make it really smooth. This part, the shadow is greater, so let me add more forces here. And then we got some of the not so good shadowy parts. Okay, that's my interpretation at least. And we got really light shadowy parts here. Okay, just different people have different interpretation of the same word when they draw, or maybe this word is not the same, or maybe this word is just our imagination. We don't know that. And by the way, I tend to like talk like about philosophical question when I work and when I create my art, because it's really like I do this to force myself to slow down. I work in programming, I work in finance before. I still do some side gig of programming. I also have a channel that to share the programming tutorial, something like that. But all that is just take myself away from the actual thinking. So I think by doing art, I actually force myself to think about things, and that thing is sometimes I just forgot to think about that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. And let me just fine tuning some part. Okay, we do have some here, and I'm really want to use the charcoal right now, because I think if I use charcoal, I can just smudge it here and there, and to create this like great mix, and I can call it for a day. I finish this drawing. I think it's got some. Okay. And yep, I think that's yeah, that's pretty good. And then I'm thinking about this area maybe not too defined, and I don't want to see this. You guys just see the like two line here, because that shows that I'm not too sure about things. I don't want other people to see I'm not too sure about things. Okay, and another thing I learned is that look at here. Okay, look at here. If you apply enough forces, you're at the most, like, darkest value that you can get, and then that's it. You won't be able to make it like darker. So you have to think about this. Unless you change your pen, something like that, you won't be able to make adjustments. So the darkest dark is like this. Okay, and I think I got a really slight whiteness at the edges to just add a little bit authentic reflection. I'm going to erase this part a little bit. Okay, and I think I can use this to like make the edges not too, like a stroke by stroke. Okay, like a smooth transition of edges. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this phone just dead. Maybe I have spent too much time and the screensaver just kick in. So let me do that again. And I think I must draw more than 30 minutes, because that's what my phone do. If there's an inactivity of 30 minutes, it would just be close the screen to save itself a little bit battery. I love to use this kind of a soft eraser. It can really blend things. I sometimes even use that to blend. So so basically, if you use that, it will not immediately get rid of whatever you put it on. In fact, it will smudge things. It's like in Photoshop we got smudge tool. Okay, so I just found the real life smudge tool. Something like this. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks great. This do have a really thin line to connect, so I'm going to add this as well. This is just my interpretation. Okay, how I see this word. Okay, I think that's this can serve as a pass. Okay, yeah, maybe this need to erase this a little bit more. And the highlight part need to have a transition area, so you can actually show, hey, this is the highlight that we are talking about. So I'm going to add this transition part and use this smudge tool to make the transition more natural. Okay, so basically, if you look at here, the thing I erased is the thing that I want to be highlighted. So in order for it to not have a really sharp edges, I'll do this drawing and erase it, so it just become more natural rather than brush by brush. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, yeah, in order to practice more, I sometimes have to keep myself not to focus too much on a drawing, because as you guys already know, that I said multiple times, that the artist's work is never finished. If you are not satisfied with it, constantly like just to stay on one thing, you won't be able to improve quickly. So I would tend to use another technique, just to draw a lot of things in a very short time in order to improve the skill, and then I would go back to my drawing and to improve it. Okay, just to learn more technique every day. Okay, and I think that's what I learned and what I practiced today. And yeah, keep practicing, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and give the video a thumb up. And this channel got more to offer. I not only yeah, I just love art and I love create things. So this channel cover a lot of things about me exploring traditional arts, like digital arts, modeling, sculpting, animation, and yeah, and all. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Stay tuned. Bye.